Master your mind, master the markets. The trader's psychology blueprint. Have you ever felt like the markets are a trap? You get in, you have to make money, you have to be right, you have to put up with the stress and the uncertainty. It can feel like a relentless grind. That I've been a trading coach since 1982, and over the years, I've worked with the biggest hedge funds, the most powerful money managers, and some of the largest floor traders on the exchanges. And I know what you want. You want consistency. You want to generate a reliable income from your trading. But let me ask you a question. What is the single biggest obstacle standing in your way? Is it your strategy? Your indicators? Or is it something deeper? I'll tell you what I've found after decades in the trenches. The major obstacle is almost never the methodology. It's in the area of trade execution. To produce a consistent income, you have to be able to execute your trades without making errors, without hesitation, without reservation, and without that internal conflict that screams at you at the worst possible moment. Sound familiar? All the errors we are susceptible to are the result of a lack of confidence. They stem from trading with fear. And here's what most people don't realize. Trading without fear is a skill. A learnable, trainable skill that has to be cultivated. It is the primary difference that separates the professional from the typical retail trader. Think about that for a second. The pros aren't just better at reading charts. They're better at managing their minds. Let me take you back to where it all started for me. My first trade was in potato futures on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I made money. And just like most people, I thought, my God, why didn't I find out about this sooner? This is easy. Famous last words, right? I went from potatoes to gold to silver. My trading experience back then was, I'm sure, a lot like yours might be today, full of hope, excitement, and then the painful lessons. But I had one trade, one particular experience with silver that changed everything for me. That I was long silver and the market dropped. My broker, instead of having me cut the loss, put me into a complex spread to manage the risk. What he was really doing was churning my account for commissions. Back then, commissions were $125 per contract, per round turn. He locked in loss after loss, generating fee after fee, while I watched my account evaporate. The stress was unbearable. I couldn't sleep. I woke up one morning and said, that's it. I can't take this anymore. I called him and told him to liquidate the entire position. And then, within the hour, the silver market went limit up. And it proceeded to go limit up for 30 days in a row, skyrocketing to $49 an ounce. That I had been right there, on the verge of a trade that could have made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I got out right before it exploded because I couldn't handle the pain anymore. I was out, and because of the limit moves, I couldn't even get back in. I had to sit and watch in complete agony. That moment was a gut punch, but it was also a turning point. I asked myself a profound question. What does it really take to be consistently successful? What do the pros know that I don't? I was so determined to find out that I left a six-figure career, moved to Chicago, and took a $20,000 a year job at Merrill Lynch on the floor of the Chicago Board of Trade. Everyone I knew thought I was insane. And you know what I discovered when I got there? The shocking truth was that most of the brokers, and even many of the floor traders, didn't truly know how to trade consistently either. The underlying philosophy in the commodity business back then was brutal. All commodity traders are terminal. It's only a matter of time before they blow up. Our job is to make them comfortable until they expire. I remember the head of Merrill Lynch Commodities telling a room of 90 new brokers, the average Merrill Lynch customer loses all their money in 6 months. And that was the accepted truth. That I was appalled. I had given up everything to learn from the pros, only to find out that the real secret wasn't in the pit. It was in the mind. This led me on a quest to understand the psychology of trading. I started keeping extensive journals, noting my thought processes, my fears, and the patterns I saw in myself and others. I realized that trading isn't a physical skill, it's a mouse click. The real challenge is 100% between your ears. Let's talk about equity curves for a moment. I see traders fall into 3 categories. The consistent winners. Their equity curve goes up and to the right. It has drawdowns, of course, but those are just the normal losses any good system will incur. They aren't emotional, they're statistical. The boom and busters. This is most traders. They learn a good method, they have winning trades, and their equity curve goes up until it doesn't. A massive, catastrophic loss wipes out weeks or months of profits. They always blame the market. Something changed. But what really happened was a trading error born from fear. The consistent losers. Their equity curve is a slow-motion train wreck heading south. That I worked with one of the biggest bond traders on the Chicago Board of Trade. This guy was a genius in the pit. Watching him was like watching Michael Jordan play basketball. But he was a classic boom and buster. In the first 5 months of 1992, he had $12 million roll in and out of his account. He was brilliant, but emotionally reckless. After a particularly bad day, his wife called me, frantic, saying they were going to lose their house. I started working with him. I noticed he could only maintain peak focus for about 1 hour a day. After that, his focus would diminish, and he'd get reckless. He'd make $500,000 in a day and then be angry because he gave back $175,000 of it in the last 5 minutes that I told him, if you're serious, you will only trade for 1 hour a day. He agreed. And you know what happened? By focusing for just that one intense hour, he averaged $175,000 per day during that period. He finished the year up almost $6 million, more than he'd ever made before. His problem wasn't skill. It was psychological discipline. What's the core of this psychological skill set? It's learning to trade without fear. Fear distorts your perception of market information. It causes you to hesitate on entries, cut winners too early, and let losers run. It makes you override your own well-tested rules. I want you to think about this. What is the profit gap in your trading? On one side, you have the pure, unlimited potential of your trading methodology. Let's say the wise method you're learning. On the other side, you have your actual bottom line results. The space between them, that's the profit gap. Most traders think that gap is filled with more information, a new indicator, a better scanner, another webinar. But I'm here to tell you that is categorically false. That gap is filled with your fears, your doubts, and your unresolved internal conflicts. The path to closing that gap, to thinking and trading like a professional, is not about learning more about the markets. It's about learning more about yourself. Think of a pro basketball player at the free throw line. In practice, he can sink 20 in a row. The variables are fixed. But put him in a game with 1 second on the clock, the score tied, and thousands of people screaming, that's when he chokes. The guy who doesn't choke, who makes that shot, has a psychological skill the other one lacks. Trading is no different. Your call to action today is this. Make the decision to invest in your trading psychology with the same intensity you invest in your market analysis. Stop looking for the next holy grail indicator. The grail is inside you. It's your ability to execute your plan with confidence and ease. Regardless of what the market is doing, I went from tapping out and filing for bankruptcy to coaching the world's best traders because I was forced to confront my deepest fears and rebuild my mindset from the ground up. When I did, the market didn't change, but my perception of it did. The blinders came off. You can do the same. You can evolve beyond the typical trader's mindset. You can learn to trade not just with skill, but with a professional's calm and consistent confidence. The potential is already in your methodology. Now, it's time to unlock it in your mind. What is one fear that you know is holding your trading back? Acknowledge it right now. Write it down. That's the first step to disarming it. The journey to becoming a consistent trader starts not with a better trade, but with a better you. Let's get to work.